has been, to my knowledge, quite popular in the scrims.
It's very true, and it's the little things as well. Who he, likes to play the Corki. We've seen it before. It also now says if he wants to play that Syndra later, they'll be banning that Corki. They'll be banning the things he's trying to show us that he's been talking about all the time, that he can play outside the pool, that everyone thinks is so tiny. Coaches are going to shake, and they're going to make their way off stage as the players are getting ready to head on to the Rift. Chronologic Gaming versus Team Liquid. There are the matchups on your screen. Really looking at Rainover in the jungle here. We'll keep an eye on him versus Xmithy. And also Piglet now back. We'll see how that synergizes with the rest of the team against Stixxay and Aphromoo, who Stixxay says he's ready to be the best.
Yeah, and actually it's kind of rare in these games, but I'm excited for every single positional matchup. You have the strength in the bottom lane from Stixxay and Aphromoo, hoping to solidify themselves as the best bottom lane.
Yep.
But Piglet used to kind of make his bread by being an amazing laner, and he's had a long time to train to try and get back with Matt. Golden Glue versus Suhi with the support of Rainover. Xmithy was an up-and-coming jungler. I'm just going to actually say everything for no reason, and then Lorlo and Darshan, two top laners looking to prove.
The chants begin. I'm sure the players are ready now. A bit of a pause there in the beginning after they've been waiting so long in the offseason to get in. Now they get their hands moving as they have been itching oh so much.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Regular wardage here. Chronologic Gaming getting a little deep vision, making sure they are not getting routed by anything in the top lane here.
Interesting there by CLG, because both teams just ended up doing the spread formation early on in the game, but they kind of scouted each other, so CLG knew there wasn't 5 people waiting for them in the jungle, so they kind of moved up and almost feinted a ward, but they didn't actually place a ward. So for the most part, nothing was accomplished.
Minions have spawned.
It's all right. They think they placed it. Now when they go sweep, you waste your sweeper. Long con. That's what it's all about. You see Keystones. Hard CC up there for Courage of Colossus, Lorlo, and Darshan. Can't wait to see these guys get into the fights later. Really put up some damage from the top lane. Not damage. Put up some power. This game's scary.
Yeah, Maokai versus Nautilus, both guys can basically just going to try and shove each other in faster. Although, surprisingly, looking at some of the top lane picks globally, so we get some trading in the bottom lane. Looking at top lane picks globally, Maokai has double the picks of the next closest top laner. So Camille is obviously the most banned top laner, but it really feels like people are settling on Maokai as the king of the available tanks.
It feels so good. Vengeful Maelstrom, when you're able to use that and help the entire team, it's just really nice, not too mechanically difficult to play. Once you lock onto somebody, that guy's usually dead. You don't have to be too worried about going in. So you can see the love for that on the tree. We'll see how Lorlo does this game. Both corruption potions for them. Little love taps in the mid lane as Huki and Golden Glue go back and forth. Level 2s give them a bit of aggression, but they calm down right quick as Golden Glue has to clean up the CS here.
Shame to say it, I think that's the first time I've seen that Corki skin.
Yeah?
It's much different than the other ones. So that's
Just don't mistake it for Rumble when he flies by quick.
Yeah, that's the whole reason who he picked it. I can see that being a mistake.
Yeah.
Interesting right there. The Hawk Shot, one of the benefits of having Ashe. One of the many reasons that Ashe, as far as the trinity of AD carries, is being picked more than others. They scouted, Rainover knows he's there, and he's going to push him off.
When you click on the cone and fly back over. Should be all right. Really nice job. Just gets kind of the routing on Xmithy. Knows, gets himself out. Doesn't really give himself too much there, but wasting Xmithy's time.
Interesting. I was going to really applaud Team Liquid for the disruption there. Just they Hawk Shot and then they push Xmithy out. But the fact that they didn't steal or do damage and then Rainover walks away, the time commitment is actually greater by Rainover than by Xmithy. So even though it was all the coordination was on the side of Team Liquid, Xmithy gained a little bit of time off of that. Except for that ward, which will give a little bit more scouting long-term for Team Liquid.
That shield damage early. Lorlo not expecting it. He's going to be safe by his turret, has the minion wave coming out, but Darshan making sure he gets a little aggression here on the top side of the map as he sees Rainover going into the bot side of the top.
Yeah, and even talking about the Maokai versus Nautilus matchup, Nautilus has a little bit more base damage in his kit than Maokai, but Maokai definitely looks like it outscales. Both junglers have very good gank assist.
Twisted advance. Rainover comes in. Darshan with the flash and gets himself to safety. With the dredge line, very nicely done. Plays it calm. I actually thought he was going to be in quite a bit of trouble there, even with the ward, but
Yeah.
maybe it'll be a repeat here for Rainover.
When you have your flash up on Nautilus, it's extremely hard to die to a gank as long as you've also saved your Q, just because you flash and then get the dredge line pull. So now that he doesn't have his flash, the next gank would be much more successful. And nice delay there by Lorlo.
Yeah.
Hopefully going to get that wave to crash into the turret. Or if they wanted to be really cheeky, try and throw another sapling to interrupt his recall. But it doesn't look like that's happening.
A little too much time, and it looks like he may not get the wave just there by the map. Rainover ping as they're trying to catch him on the way back possibly here. That would be the timing for the wave to hit. But it's a TP back as we think. So no aggression here. Touchdown comes back just a few minions behind, and he'll be able to pick those up. Big Smithy itemizing already as he gets himself back out into the jungle. Rainover's been spending the time in his jungle, but this fight could be in Smithy's favor.
Well, mainly because Smithy is shopped already, so he's got the longsword on him.
He's actually in a really good spot. If Rainover can't get out of this, if he's actually spotted, he can just kind of get over to the left side. Aggression in the bot lane too. Alfred trying to go forward, knows he can save it. Oh, the code bop on both of them. And he can't get in fast enough. Rainover does make it out. They're still going toe-to-toe in the bot lane with slivers of health left. Alfred was going in low, and then Stixay said, I'll give it a try. TL comes out on top, and they're going to crash this into the turret.
Oh, so nice play there by Team Liquid to get that favorable trade. That's going to be about 5 or 6 minions completely denied from Stixay, not to mention the recall timing that oftentimes you like to be able to get a BF sword has to settle for the Warhammer. So good job on Piglet and Matt. That 2v2.
Steps back, waits for a potion real quick. 34 to 44. Some of those minions will be cleaned up, but it should allow Piglet to have a lead in that lane and possible 6 early for the team to go against Stixay and Afromu. Rainover now itemized a bit for himself. The control wards begin to come out here instantly as all of TL kind of backs at the same time to make their way out and set up that vision.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the LCS. Control ward's quite cheap, and also it's one of the few ways you can actually get vision on the map. Late game, actually, I'm seeing some teams buy 2 and 3 control wards per person, even though you can only have one on the map at the same time, just so they can constantly replenish them, and they're almost using them like normal wards of days gone by, where they just throw them in the middle of a lane and just, oh, now I have vision there.
Well, it feels good. You get to defend it. It helps you out a little bit. Definitely like the feature of the ward.
Yeah, I do want to refocus very slightly on the bottom lane, though, because Piglet was able to get the BF sword, whereas Stixay is sitting on the Warhammer. So if they're able to push them in, they could hopefully sustain some of that power. And also, talk very quickly about the AD carry trinity of Ashe, Varus, and Jhin. Ashe is considered a soft counter by many to the other ADs, mainly because she outranges them by ever so slightly. So Varus has 575 range, Ashe has 600. You've heard the auto-spacing meme that Piglet is so good at, but Piglet is actually very good at staying at exactly his max range and getting auto attacks in, which can oftentimes give you 2 attack for 1 trades, and Piglet's one of the best at that.
It's one of the first things I noticed when I saw Piglet stream was how kind of smooth just his movement is.
Golden glue.
Come back.
You didn't rank kick. Rainover's like, you know what? This is your punishment.
That's a thing.
For not finishing the blue.
And no Ivern buffs for you either, so oh well. We'll see for the next ones. So Golden Glue shouldn't be too bad off. He may take some trouble from Corki here in the mid lane, but that blue buff is wearing off anyway, so he should be all right.
Blue is nice for Cassiopeia, but once you have the tier and you're maxing the E, you're getting so many mana refunds when you're last hitting with your Twin Fang, because it costs 70 and refunds 70 if you last hit with it. So Golden Glue shouldn't have problems. It just gives him a little bit less flexibility to harass.
He gets the tier as well. He's like, don't worry. I'm just going to stack this up. It would have been easier. Rainover, a little love to bottom lane. There's that 6 we were talking about. Is just for Piglet. Matt could be very close, but this is 5s on the other side, and that's enough for them to go for this. That's 1 flash. Alphamu went hard in the last play. They're Rainover the double here, and it's going to be Piglet going down. Great job by Aframu to go hard on that one, going 1 for 2. And now Huhi flying over the wall. He uses the package to get in range. The exhaust on Rainover, but is it enough? The shield from Matt, the wild growth as well. And here's the roam from Golden Glue to clean up the fight. 4 members of CLG are down. It all comes together for Team Liquid in that play. Rainover was the first person to the roam. They were the first to level 6 with the Ashe. They landed it, and even though Huhi technically roamed down a little bit before, it's because he was too early. He tried to go in for a 1v2. Everything goes Team Liquid's way. Wow, 4 kills and the Infernal Drake. Insane for it to just pop off like that. It was just rain over for a second, and then everybody joined that fight in the bot lane. Infernal over to TL, and we'll watch this again.
Yeah, I mean, this even stems from the early recall Stixxay had to do where he lost a wave. He wasn't level 6. Rainover then comes in, has already evolved his Q. He's got an incredibly low cooldown when you're able to spam it like that, kills him. And then Hui thinks he has exhaust, so he can take him. He's not worried about the evolved Q, but it's still a 2v1. So he doesn't have enough damage. Xmithy as well flashed to try and save, but no one was calling out the fact that Golden Glue was on his way, because even if Xmithy saves him there, he still dies at the end of the day, and it wouldn't be worth it for the extra assist gold. So really, a couple of big misplays by COG to not just bail from that play. They were trying to salvage it, but a good play by Team Liquid, capitalizing on that Ashe level 6.
Lulu hitting 6 as well. Nicely saving Rainover, giving him that extra boost. It was 5 when they started that fight, so maybe CLG thought they could kind of re-engage. 4-1 after that mess in the bot lane, coming in favor of Team Liquid, and pretty nice gold lead. Top lane hasn't really had anything come of it, 87 to 91. They're very close to each other. So we'll have to see once they get to these 5v5s how they fare.
Absolutely, and it's very early on in the season, and I love to overreact at the beginning of season and make bold statements.
To your heart's content,
But Rainover looks really good on Kha'Zix, and he is, at least in this game, transitioning what he did last split. So some of the things he did in the jungle even, Kha'Zix is incredible at clearing single target jungle camps. Well, he actually got 2 Gromps killed in his first clear, and that was partially because of the invade he did. He checked the red buff, recognized when he saw Xmithy there that Xmithy wouldn't have been able to clear his Gromp to get there in time, warded the Krugs, saw he was at the Krugs, went all the way around, did the other Gromp. Like, he thinks so far ahead of the game, which is kind of what made him great. And then as long as he can still execute the champion, because the mechanics are his main criticism, but his mechanics look great when he jumped in there to get that final kill, and now he started off 2-0-2.
I think it's one thing overall I noticed yesterday in TSM C9, tweeted about it right after the first game, is it was much more consistent, not aggression, but trying their strategies, continuing to go, not just 15 minutes of fight and we lost. Up to 30 minutes, they kept butting heads, and then it slowed down. Whereas seasons before, we'd see that slow down around 15, 10. You get very tempered because something bad happened, but teams definitely trying more, going a little bit harder. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, and they actually have very slight CS advantages across every single lane, but mainly was the fact that Piglet had that BF sword. He didn't pick up any kills, so he doesn't have a huge lead, but because they have the shove advantage really in the mid lane now, since he had to burn his exhaust and Golden Glue still had Ghost, they're able to take a big chunk out of this turret.
Still lagging a bit in mid lane. He kind of rotated back and forth. He's going to farm out this lane. They feel like they're safe in the bottom. Probably called that out with Xmithy being there. So as it looked like TL was getting a little aggressive, they do back off, but have great vision down on that bot side. CLG's been able to get a few wards in towards blue on TL side, however. So it seems like a lot of focus towards the bot, and they're happy to let Lorlo and Darshan just kind of play in the top lane with the minions.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how that bottom lane slight edge of being able to get the kills early manifests, because Matt picked up both of those kills and picked up a very early Boots of Mobility.
Yeah.
So Boots of Mobility, definitely not a laning item, it's a roaming item. So will they try and consistently visit that, leverage the teleport from the top lane and try and get first turret? Or are we going to see Matt roaming towards mid lane and trying to get Golden Glue ahead of Booty?
Yeah. Be a difficult kill on Huhi, but it's definitely a possibility. Package is up for him. Nice try, just out of range. So things do calm down for a quick moment as there are camps to be grabbed. Everybody's backing to itemize. Caulfield's now up for Piglet. It's actually been evened out in the terms of that damage, but the Berserker Greaves are finished on the side of Stixxay at this point. Piglet likes to stay out and get his farm.
Very true. Looks like Piglet trying to get to Zealand Hurricane potentially before he goes for the boots, but oftentimes when these guys are just building up towards their items, both AD carries actually will most likely do an Essence Reaver Hurricane build. It's just whatever's most efficient when you're going back to base to get as much power as possible.
Matt, I just realized Matt's 2-0 and 2 with Rainover. Fantastic synergy right there between the two. No wonder he has eyes so fast.
Jungle support synergy.
Yeah, there you go. And maybe, you know, he grabbed those mobility boots. He's so rich, he's going to be able to move around. And maybe they do kind of go back to Piglet hanging out, and he can get there in time. Seems like we'll be ready for a Drake in 1 minute. We'll get some wards in this area set up, but power in numbers as Liquid does it as a team.
Yeah, be really interested to see if any of the solo laners can hit level 11 before their opponent and then force a fight off of that. He knows the pink ward. He got his passive. Can they go
volley
more?
for the passive. Can't get on him just yet. Rainover wants to go in all the way. Nethergrass onto Rainover. He's Wild Growth, forced to get out. Matt's almost in a bad spot, but he was almost baiting in for Golden Glue there. A lot of thoughts going on here from Liquid as Smithy and the rest of the team wanted that as well. They went right in for when Rainover jumps.
Yeah, and then also Matt using the Wild Growth to interrupt the Nethergrass from Aphromoo. Kind of good plays on both sides right there. Could have gotten a kill either way if the teams didn't react properly. But that's a lot of ultimates burned before the Drake spawn. So bottom lane burns both ultimates on both sides. And that's going to diminish the explosiveness of a potential Drake fight.
Still got flashes up for members that need it. Aphromoo is just down for that engage. Might be a little harder for him to get in. But that fizzles out here as we have Dragon and 5 waves are going to be pushed up, and Aphromoo doing what he can to make sure this is Counter Logic Gaming's now.
Yeah, so even though the early game fight went horribly wrong for CLG, it's all about the item thresholds and whether or not they can get it back. ADS items, as you mentioned, are pretty much the same. Support items are pretty much the same. Golden Glue does have an advantage with the Morel and Omicron being completed, but CLG going for it nonetheless. Afro.
Second time, walks through that brush. He's just really baiting in these fights right now. Piglet is forced to flash over. Remember, his heal was used in the previous fight, so he could be in a bad spot here.
Darshan's by himself.
Darshan is pinched, and 5 members of the team goes for the crowd control. Courage of Colossus isn't enough, even with his W, but it does give the team the mountain they were actually setting up for the whole time. The first time we see the toppers, Darshan goes down.
Yeah, that's about as close as a direct one-to-one sacrifice person for objective as you can get. Darshan teleported inside Team Liquid's jungle, and no one went to help him. They just all stayed on the Drake. They get it, but I feel like the gold cost is really high. They get a Mountain Drake that is beneficial when you're able to kill turrets. Now they go for Piglet.
Oh, Big Smithy, the cripple there is going to slow for a bit. Piglet's out of mana, so he can't really volley back.
Ultimate's up on 6-8.
Down. Chain of Corruption, it's going to link. Matt's going to get stuck too. Do they turn in focus? He tries to fire the Glitter Lance back.
Both,
he may have stayed for too long. Smithy's too low. Oh, he goes! He dies! Oh my gosh!
That play, Stixxay was making sure he had no way of actually reaching Matt for damage. He had no mana for a Q, and he couldn't get an auto range. But he took turret aggro before Xmithy was willing to follow in so that Xmithy didn't die to the turret. Nice play there by COG, kind of making up for the turret that had fallen beforehand.
See, here it almost seems like, all right, you're going to go into the minions. It'll take a while, and Matt might get out.
And they know Piglet has no flash. That's why Stixxay lands the chains on him. But it also stuns. It also gets the root on a Matt there. And notice how Stixxay's out of mana. Stixxay walks, gets turret range. The instant he gets turret range, Xmithy takes the resonating strike in. And then he holds it too, so Xmithy doesn't get the turret aggro to jump back on him. That was really nicely done.
That's a broman right there. That's teamwork.
Unfortunately, they're still down 4,000 gold. They still haven't got the first turret. Things are really in Team Liquid's favor, but you got to call out the big.
It's all right. They're playing on the mentality. Say, hey, if we can do that once, we'll chip away at them. We'll do it again. That was a pretty crazy moment. I don't think it's going to happen the same, but we see that CLG is ready to dive. Like I said, that consistent action. It should have seemed like they would have been tempered or measured in that cage. But full bore now to the mid lane. There's a bit of hovering on the left and right side. And it seems like Liquid knows that. They're like, we don't have enough vision of the rest of the CLG members. Let's also be careful. Little dance in the river on the top side by Lorlo and Darshan as they farm mid lane.
Yep. Rainover at level 11 now as well, so he's evolved his wings. Makes him a much more potent threat in turret dive situations because he can get back out and jump further. But yeah, COG definitely on the back foot after losing their bottom lane turret and not having very good ward coverage in that side of their jungle either. They kind of abandon it and getting dictated to a little bit by Team Liquid.
Sunblade up, Sword Boots for Huhi. Exhaust on him as well, so he knows he is just going to be packaging in and kind of trying to crush these fights, blow somebody up. We've seen it a few times before. Level 12 for him. Same as Golden Glue. They have fared pretty evenly in the mid lane here. It's only that hit on Huhi when he went bottom lane and got a little overzealous.
Yeah, just a little bit. You have the package, you just want to fly in there. Interesting how he's gone with the Hextech Gunblade as well. The basically active on it is a substantial amount of damage that he's looking to kind of burst people with. Probably going Trinity Force afterwards, so That's the thing with the mid lane Corki. They just kind of stack as many on hits as possible since he's got damage from so many different sources. Still going to be able to pump out a huge amount of damage in team fights with that build.
This is a close one.
Top lane fight, tank fight, tank fight. And it's not even like there's something that has the illusion of being able to kill you, like a Trundle is like, maybe he'll steal your resistances and then you'll die.
Yep.
No, they just don't. They just don't do anything.
I was looking forward to something there, but I guess not. Zeal picked up by Piglet after his Essence Reaver. So yeah, we are actually evening out quite a bit here for the AD carries. There's a bit of a rough lane for Stixxay and CLG, but they have pulled through quite well. A little bit of help from Xmithy over time. And 20 minutes in here, they have basically been able to even the game up. The gold lead doesn't say very much. Reignover 203 though. See if he can still continue to make an impact on this game. He actually, whoop, good dodge. Almost got hit by the flights in the back. Actually, as we saw, it was one. We were going to say, does he go to Lorlo? And it hasn't. It has been Piglet and Matt, actually, in that bot lane.
Definitely. Really nice juke there by Stixxay
Yeah.
as well. Really looks like the next Drake could be the main point of contention. The teleports have come back off of cooldown. You can expect them to try and use that. And Team Liquid actually hasn't gotten aggressive control wards in the Drake area. And as you can see, Huhi freely running through the river right here does speak to a certain level of map control COG has, although you wouldn't think it with a 4,000 gold deficit. Even if they win a team fight, they probably still wouldn't be up in gold. They go!
The flash, Quicksilver's just going to point that out. Picked up by Golden Glue on his last back. We saw Huhi kind of roaming through the jungle, maybe being the one guy that gets caught out and can Velk away with his exhaust on, but they try for the under the turret fight. Come out empty-handed.
I mean, credit to Golden Glue for investing in the Quicksilver stash early. It's always a debate about whether or not it's worth it if it's just to support Malzahar. But it absolutely saves his life there. And now for Mu, not checking the items of his opponent right there because he had that sitting in his inventory, like you said, on his last back, which was a couple minutes ago. So wastes his flash and his ultimate, although they did get double summoners from Golden Glue.
That would have been a very big opening. Those are the things we look at here. 20 minutes in the game that would have just let this go in CLG's favor until TL kind of put up the same fight. Piglet, again in the side lane. Not much has changed here. They're keeping this organized where he can continue to farm. He actually did not pick up those kills in the lane. He picked up the assist, so not that it hurts, it just doesn't help him.
Yeah, they have the Infernal Drake against a Mountain. So Mountain Drake actually a little tankier than other Drakes. If COG did want to try and fly in, they have a ward. He could try and ward jump to steal and then flash out.
Yeah,
Looks like he's giving it up.
just the left.
All right, but they're trying to use that time to get another bit on this mid lane turret. Team Liquid playing quite clean, honestly. Everything COG tries to do, Team Liquid has a good answer for.
As they go mid here, that was Stixxay trying to take red. So the waves are easily cleared by Team Liquid before there's too much pressure. It looks like CLG is going to kind of put their foot down and say, let's grab one of these turrets. We need to knock something down on this map. TL's had one up on us for a while, and they're just able to roam too much. So maybe the pressure here will finally be enough. It's just under half health, but they can't get into range. Huhi trying to sneak in from the side. And the arrow for deterrent, and it works. They are not letting him get this turret.
Lorlo's here, though.
Oh, Lorlo with the TP, the deep wards continuing to be placed throughout the game. Reignover a little too deep on that one, gets himself killed, but can they trade now? A 2-for-1, yes they can. They grab Aframu, the flash is down from the Golden Glue engage, and he falls too.
Yeah, so it was all a coordinated play. The Ash Arrow was flying through as the teleport was coming in.
Right.
Even though the Ash Arrow didn't land, they decided to go for the initiation.
It was the zoning arrow.
Yep, and they just kind of put their strength into COG, and COG falls over because they had the big gold lead, and they just brute forced that team fight. Even though Reignover flew way forward into that Malzahar ultimate, you actually saw Matt flash forward to try and wild growth him, but I believe he got caught by silence. We'll watch this one more time.
Perfect
Arrow
zoning.
goes wide, but as you can see, the teleport was already on its way, and Darshan not matching that teleport because he wanted to get early. They just blow up Huhi. Then watch this. Reignover jumps in. Matt flashes. I guess he might not have been silenced. He just didn't get the ultimate in time, but they killed two of them. Trying to give him a little bit of credit there. Say silenced, he couldn't get the ultimate.
I got it.
It's a long range on Wild Growth too. You can
It actually is. It's very deceiving. It's one of those things you don't see her or Kale on the outside and the person is just saved. And then you pull your hair out. Recurve for Piglet. He is continuing. Hurricane's actually already there for Stixay. Even though he's been roaming with the team, he's been the majority grab of the CS when he gets to that mid lane and who he starts to do a little warding. He picks up blue. CLG, again, have to set something else up. Team Liquid's definitely in the lead, and Chronologic Gaming have actually been very good about trying something. They just have to figure out that mark and think of the 1, 2, 3 before doing it. What are those items? Where's the rest of the team? How much vision do we have?
Yeah, unfortunately, though, for CLG, Matt's Lulu has been pretty good so far, and especially when he hits level 11, that Wild Growth's going to stop a lot of the picks that CLG might be trying. They tried to pick on a Golden Glue. He already had a QSS. Was able to stop that there. You're probably not getting a pick on the 3-0 giant Maokai, who can only get bigger when supported by Lulu. So Team Liquid has a lot of control over this map.
Turret for turret across the map. Quick ghost out as Golden Glue slithers away from a bit of danger. Looks like they will finally be able to drop mid here. It's been opened up for Team Liquid for just a few minutes, so they haven't been able to grab too much. Now it gets a little harder to go in deeper and make sure you're safe. CLG, looks like they're going to recognize that and say, I'm just going to back up right now. They don't have too much vision on the rest of the team.
Yeah, and I know we talked about a lot. Oh, as they're going for another Ash Arrow. Lorlo's in.
Smithy can safeguard away quite quickly. They have to focus. They did, quickly taking him down. He can't get anywhere. And they are just snap judgment on CLG, and it seems like they're a few seconds behind each time.
Exactly. They put the miasma down after the initiation from Lorlo, and he was sped up by the Lulu, so there was no way X-Mix was getting away from that. Now it's a Mountain Drake with the Cassiopeia onto this Baron. It's going down real fast.
Stretch line in. Darshan just wants to be a body, throws it. Rainover still picks up Baron, and Liquid are looking great.
Yeah, and well organized as well, and I think that is a little bit of the Rainover factor when they're able to make these plays work. But I also have to give a shout out for Lorlo for his 269 CS 26 minutes into the game. 10 CS per minute is a number that is almost never approached by mid laners and ADs, let alone top laners. So Lorlo has been extremely good CS for the majority of the game, as well as still having effectiveness when he teleports in for these flanks. So really, he's a monster right here. And with this lead and how tanky he is before legitimate multipliers have been able to be built up on the other side, you can see Stixay having to build a Last Whisper, but still doesn't have an Infinity Edge. Lorlo's going to be unkillable, and Team Liquid's going to look to take a huge lead here.
It's tough. He's going to be the one in your face, and you want to get to Piglet. You want to get to Golden Glue. You might find Rainover as well, but then they're going to get Wild Growth. CLG is almost running out of options here. The Triforce is picked up by Huhi. Maybe he can get a pop, but Piglet has not been out of position. He has been now joining the team much more, and they are ready to take down some more turrets. The Mountain and the Infernal giving them a little assist here. They take it down to about 75%.
Yeah, Corki and Varus quite good at clearing even Baron and powered minion waves, which is why you can see Lorlo isn't actually grouping with the team right now. He's trying to get some pressure going on the bottom side. Still, though, at this point in the game, when you have as much armor as Lorlo does, you can actually brute force in for some turret dives. I'll be interested to see if Team Liquid actually decides to do that.
They could actually route him here. Rainover is going to take that left side to put pressure, pushing Alframu away a little bit. They're over the wall. If they can take Darshan down that fast, it's very scary for the rest of Chronologic Gaming. The turrets falling quick as well. And Team Liquid knocking on the front doors. They approach the base under 30 minutes here on the first inhibitor turret.
Here we go. They have a couple minions that are able to save it.
Yeah, with the siege in the back, Baron is on. CLG has to watch this happen. Their waves on the other side are not pushing towards them, so they got a little bit of a breather there, but they have to watch this happen to the inhibitor with the strength that Team Liquid has amassed here.
Yeah, and Team Liquid just taking exactly what they can and not pushing for more.
Yeah.
They make that push. They see the Infernal Drake is up. They're just going to slide back and take that while COG is still confined to their base.
Freight train.
Yeah, definitely a freight train over that wall.
7,000 gold in the bank. Liquid is able to now spend on everything they need. We're seeing some of these items come out now. That Redemption's been actually finished for a while. Locket for Matt. He is items up on Alframu at this point. I almost say that across the board. That Seraph's is finished for Golden Glue. He picks up another Needless. It is not that Needless. Elixir of Iron as well for Rainover. It's going to be big.
Very strong. A little surprised Golden Glue isn't going for Void Staff right now, but still going for that AP. QSS for Piglet as well. QSS is one of those nice luxury items you can build while you're ahead without it really costing you. Oftentimes, when you're in an even or you're behind, you almost can't afford to do it because you're trying to build up all your damage, but Team Liquid not having issues getting kills right now, so pretty easily able to itemize defensively.
All right, Jack. What is Counter Logic Gaming's next move? Besides defense, a good defense, what can they look to get an opening?
Yeah, you'd want Xmithy to kick someone like Golden Glue or Piglet backwards because you can't QSS the kick. And then they would put him in a bad spot. But in doing so, you have to get through Miasma.
Yeah.
Matt can literally just polymorph you as soon as you try and fly in because there's no way of avoiding that. You could hope Lorlo dives too far, and Aftermove can catch him in the Nether Grasp and get some percent health damage going down. But beyond that, there's few options.
Yeah.
Hope Rainover shorts to jump over the wall.
Uh-oh.
That's one.
Oh, flash everything. They are taking this opportunity. We didn't expect that opening to be one of the openings.
Yeah. I was getting that next, actually, Riv. Let's have the Kazakhs who can jump across half the map, jump 2 feet, and fail to go over the wall. Then you can kill him. Let's see if COG can get anything off this. It would be a 4v5 defense for Team Liquid.
You know you jinxed Rainover.
Ooh. Jinx is too high.
Oh! Darshan looking to just stop them from getting across. Whole team pop up. He gets a nice shield of courage on that one. He may still go down though. They say you drop our jungler, we'll drop your top. And we can keep going. Lorlo's gonna be in range. The twisted advance hits, and it's the flash for Aframu, which actually brings Lorlo into the team. Who he tries to split it. He's doing his best to Talia impersonation, and he does do it. The exhaust is down. He blows him up. This is what the build is for, and now he's on Matt. Lorlo, still a gigantic brick wall in front of Matt, will be able to set up the defense and has enough to lock down Huhi. Super minions on the base, and Matt is going to do a bit of damage. Lorlo over to the Nexus to make sure the next Nexus turret goes down, and Liquid can run CLG around the map right now with the lead they have and even losing members.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they keep Huhi away, it's still 15 seconds on the next respawn.
Oh, he comes in! Can't get him. A little bit of a retribution kill.
I don't
Lorlo
think finish it.
Is beating
Darshan's
away at this
coming up.
Nexus. Darshan, oh, this is not going to do it. He's just going to hit him with the anchor. Lorlo is swinging away. Here's Aframu. They're going to be able to lock him down a bit.
He's got it.
Can't silence auto attacks, though, Jack.
No way.
You can't silence auto attacks. They cut him down. Shut down. Stixate gets the kill. That was a tense moment. My palms are sweaty.
Yeah, the most exciting top lane battle we've had when instead of trying to kill each other, they try and kill the Nexus. That's the power play for that engagement. But really, a bunch of chaos goes on here. It's super interesting because Huhi was in base trying to clear supers, which is why Team Liquid felt confident in a 4v4, despite Rainover being dead. They catch Darshan in the Miasma as well. Lorlo continues the chase because he knows no one wants to spend the time to kill him, so he runs all the way through.
That unfortunate flash carry.
Those flashes, but right after that, he gets the package in, kind of cutting off the fight. Meanwhile, the Voidlings from Aframu's Malzahar actually do a bunch of damage.
Yeah, they were angry.
Gets the final rocket to come in, and then at this point, we saw what happened here. They chased him down, and
a great fight.
Well, they couldn't finish the game.
Great fight by both teams, initiating, figuring out how to get the lead in it. CLG looked really good in the beginning of that one, and somehow the power of Liquid right now throughout this game is just able to carry them through the fights. And Lorlo, the giant sequoia tree running around the map right now. 8,000 now as it just ticks up for TL. They're not really worried about that lead that they have. Counter Logic Gaming knows it needs to be another one of those fights, but they need to be the last man or team standing.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get lucky. Darshan does not want to be here.
Oh. Flash, he sees the team is there. The anxiousness, he was flashing away when he could have been going in. The team is there to support him, and they do continue. 52 seconds now on these timers. Rainover's got a while. He's been going down very quick, but we see that Liquid can pull these fights back still. 5 strong. CLG push up mid lane now. Just about 5 minutes ago, TL was all over their base. The minions still are, but Counter Logic Gaming is giving themselves some breathing room here.
I think CLG actually has to send someone back for that wave of minions, otherwise it's going to re-kill the inhibitor.
Point.
There's a super there, so it would actually just end the game if they send 0 people back.
It's the one thing that's really hurting them is they have to respect that little opening TL gave themselves.
They're going for it.
They're going to force it. They lose the inhibitor, they get Baron, they'll be good.
They have a Mountain Drake, they know Rainover can't smite it, so they want to finish Baron and then fight. They have to finish it fast.
Mass Voidlings on the Baron. Nobody else can get to it. And Smitty's doing it. He smites it down. They're going to have Baron. Makes it harder for Liquid to push in, but now can they drop Liquid? Lorlo on the top side, crushing everybody, trying to peel the team off. That's going to be 4 now down for CLG. Baron will not matter, as it will not be on a member. And Golden Glue is headed for the win.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Glue's going to go help out, but those minions have gotten a bit of a head start. That Nexus is going down, Riv.
I think he'll get one snake on it.
Get him, Golden Glue!
One snake! Oh, he misses the extra gold. The minions get it, they bank it, and Team Liquid with a very clean game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you couldn't ask for a much better start from Team Liquid. We talked about the question marks you have with Lorlo and Golden Glue having the new jungler and Reignover, and it's a good start for them for sure. Lorlo 7-1-6 on the Maokai, his only death being while he tries to solo kill the Nexus, and then Golden Glue, not giving him credit for that Nexus kill, 5-1-6. So solid performances all around there by Team Liquid.
A very, very excited Piglet. You saw him walking off stage there, ear to ear grinning. And for them to come out that strong, we asked a lot of questions. We'll have to see if it still goes. We've seen Team Liquid do very good, and they say, hey, temper your expectations. We know that was a good week for us, but it's actually hard to perform all that way all the time.
Exactly, and there were even little scary moments towards the end of that game where Reignover just seemed to start dying randomly, and before they ended the game, I was going to be like, I remember a game last year where CLG had a 10,000 gold deficit and came back to win, but different Team Liquid, different year, they closed the game.
Absolutely, game 1 going to Liquid, and for a deeper dive into that Team Liquid victory, let's hand it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. Got a little hairy there at the end for Team Liquid, but they were able to pull out the victory against CLG. Let's dive right into it. We were talking prior to the game about the fact that CLG is going to be a good litmus test for the rest of the teams in the LCS, as they haven't made any roster changes. More specifically, we were wondering what Team Liquid would do with Piglet in that AD carry position. Would they try and force the carry potential, or would they go for the utility? They lock in Ashe in that first rotation, so they're looking to make some changes and make him more of a role player.
Right, exactly, and I think that's what we said we wanted to see, and yeah, I kind of said, like, I don't want to see him go too hard. Still kind of played the Ashe pretty aggressively, but I'm glad to see that he can play it at least. And his arrows weren't sniping everybody out. It wasn't an insane performance, but it was good enough, and that's ultimately what I cared about, was that it was a good enough performance on Ashe. The rest of the draft came together really well. Kha'Zix's one of the premier junglers. They're able to snag that. They only had to trade out Malzahar for it, really, which honestly looked really good out of CLG, but the rest of the draft played out pretty normally until the Corki pick, which surprised me because there was only one mid lane ban, and Corki, from what I was understanding, was more of like that kind of backup, safe pick that you take to get out of laning phase when like, you're really pushed up against the wall, not something you take when everything but LeBlanc is open. And Echo, of course.
Right, Echo coming through in the second ban phase. But yeah, only 2 of them with, the likes of the Syndra, the Cassiopeias,
any of the assassins.
Right, we've seen Talias across the other regions as well. And so none of that found here. Corki is the choice. Once again, though, honing in on that bot lane, we had some questions around Matt and Piglet in a 2v2 up against Stixxay Aphromoo. In those very early levels, they seemed to have a good handle on the lane, even forcing Stixxay out. Of course, then things kind of got contaminated because everyone decided to visit the bot lane. Our first replay is going to be that 4-for-1 that fell in favor of Team Liquid, only 850 into the game, a total party in the bot lane.
Yep, that's what it's known for, the bot lane parties. And I mean, it starts out where they basically are going to kill Piglet for free, but Reignover's there to collapse on it and finish, start cleaning up the kills. And it's, a 2-for-0, that's not great, but then Huhi kind of has that that syndrome where it's like, I got the package, I better use it, and then he just goes in and gets blown up right away. It's that kind of like one man follows, no one can ever stop the cycle, and it's Smithy going in, he goes down as well. And that really opened the game up for Reignover and Matt to become bigger, not threats, but just like they can influence the map more because they have that advantage. And that's actually what I like to see, because previously Team Liquid got advantages all the time in the early game with Dardoch being a monster in that part. But the hard part for them was closing games out and extending that lead. And I think they actually did a pretty good job for most of this game.
Right, yeah, we were joking right after that play had happened. We're like, all right, now this is the real test. Will they go and make the kind of aggressive Dardoch play and have a chance of throwing the lead back, or will they play it a little bit more methodically? For a large portion of the game, they were playing without many mistakes, perhaps even a little too slow, and allowing CLG time to, to catch back up when it comes to the gold lead. But Our next replay is going to come 25 minutes into the game. This is around Baron. And this is to kind of illustrate Team Liquid's understanding after this pick of how they're going to get to closing out the game.
Right, I think when you get a 2-0-2 Kha'Zix, you think, I'm going to start going in their jungle and scrapping the other jungler all the time. What they do here is they get really good vision control around Baron and get a pick onto the Lee Sin. Once the Lee Sin's down, go and force that Baron once again, and you can turn off if you need to, or with how much damage they have between Cassio and Ashe, just burn it down and finish it. There's no smite to contest.
What I love about that replay is if you look at the minimap and are actually tracking the vision, they didn't really have to place any vision after that pick because it was all set up before the pick. They had 3 pinks around the Baron pit. The Scuttle Crab that was controlled by CLG dissipated right before that. Total control of the vision makes it a very easy decision to retreat back to that Baron when they do get the pick, as opposed to having that moment of indecision. But even after this Baron was secured, that's where we ran into some of the issues that you're mentioning, where maybe overreaching in a couple plays, giving back some kills, and that's reminiscent of a Team Liquid that has always struggled to kind of operate at that very highest level, near perfection.
Right, and I think, it's so like symbolic of that team. I don't know why it always happens. They go down, they get the bot lane inhibitor, very clean, looking really good, like they're going to close the game out. And then Reignover gets picked once, gets picked again, starts forcing these like weird team fights where things don't look good for them. And that's the kind of stuff I want to see. Totally, leave that behind. That's your past. Stop doing that.
Right.
And I think the nice thing is that it's coming out of Reignover, who's usually not the guy doing it. So hopefully he just cleans it up. It's a little bit of early, season jitters or something.
All right, we can rein that in. Player of the game is going to go over to Lorlo for this one. A very solid performance out of him. He has become very much a rock top laner. But I also want to, while talking about Lorlo, kind of take a look at that relationship between him and Reignover. We saw the early visit come up there and help blow a flash from Darshan. May have given Lorlo a bit of an edge.
Right, and I think that's the kind of stuff you want to see, where Reignover isn't just tunneled on, I have to snowball Piglet because he's the superstar carry of the team, or I have to go top side because Lorlo needs help. The fact that he can go top for a little bit, get him his advantage, then go bot side, start camping Piglet, who's playing really aggressively, and having that kind of flexibility, especially when you start factoring in other draft picks, not just a Maokai, a Camille, or whatever carry top you might see come out, having that decision-making available to Reignover, who's very smart, is something that can benefit Team Liquid a lot going forward. And of course, Lorlo just played well this game. He was constantly like 1v3 versus their backline and still killing everyone and leaving it full health. Just Maokai things.
Yeah, technically the game-winning fight over there by Baron a second time. He completely zoned out one half of the team while Team Liquid dealt with Xmithy on that Lee Sin going into the backline. So he knows his role. That 7-1-6 scoreline with a 72% kill participation with all of the action that was happening in the bot lane is very impressive. We'll be looking for a similar performance out of him. And this kind of puts a spotlight on those top laners across the league, because as you mentioned, we've got these huge imports in Someday, Looper, a former world champion. We've got Flame entering. We've got Impact, who's been here. And then you've got Lorlo, Darshan, these homegrown NA guys who have to try and make names for themselves or find places within that list. Darshan still a little shaky. Lorlo, though, with performances like that, could definitely break into that top 5, maybe even top 3 top laners.
Right, exactly. And even Zig last night looking pretty good versus Looper.
Yeah.
He's, you get the tank versus tank matchup. It's not the most difficult matchup to play as long as you're not getting abused by junglers. And if the NA top laners can force these tank versus tank matchup with the extra bans in the draft phase, I think you might see where the import top laners don't have this crazy carry playstyle that we imagine coming into the season.
All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at Game 2 just real briefly between these two teams. What would you like to see done differently from CLG? I'm going to venture a guess and say not Corki in the mid lane.
You read my mind, James.
Okay.
I don't want to see Corki in the mid lane. If there's a ton of bans forcing out a lot of the control mages and you don't want an assassin matchup, like, okay, Corki with exhaust is something you tend to see. Not in this situation. I know who he can play, Syndra. I wouldn't have minded seeing that come out here instead. The Echo ban seemed pretty smart, pretty bad actually from CLG, excuse me. You're kind of banning out one of his favorite champions, though I'm not sure you want to play into Cassio. I just think that they need to be a little more careful with their bans, and especially on red side is where you really start getting to abuse people. So I want to see what CLG can whip up on that side of the map.
All right, well, the teams solidify their plans. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, I'll be joining Team Liquid's Steve before the game for a quick interview. Be right back.
Dude, come on, your picture looks fine.
No, dude. I'm an egg.
Wait, these are the same pictures from last year, right?
No,
well, some of them.
These are the new ones.
Wait, really?
I look like an egg.
Jake looks the exact same.
Yeah, Jake and Zach literally look the same, dude.
No, dude.
No, Zach looks different.
Look at my fucking egghead.
That's one flash. Alphamu went hard in the last play. They're actually going to go for the double here, and it's going to be Piglet going down. The flying over the wall. He uses the package to get in range. The exhaust on Rainover, but is it enough? The shield from Matt. The wild growth as well. And here's the roam from Golden Glue to clean up the fight. Chain of corruption. It's going to link. Matt's going to get stuck too. Do they turn in focus? He tries to fire the Glitterlands back.
Both,
he may have stayed for too long. Smithy's too low. Oh, he goes. He dies. Oh my gosh.
Going Corky? Coming.
Go Corky.
Nice.
Oh, he tries to split it. He's doing his best to Leah impersonation, and he does do it. The exhaust is down. He blows him up.
Minions have gotten a bit of a head start. That Nexus is going down, Riv.
And Team Liquid with a very clean game one.